Good morning, everyone. I am broadcasting outside because it's a beautiful morning, and so if you hear things in the background like cats meowing or crickets or birds or I don't know, sometimes there's a car that goes by, it's because I'm outside. And also, I wanted to use this opportunity to let you know that I've really been missing greeting you guys in the morning. That's one thing that I loved doing. I loved greeting you out in the hall, asking you how your day or how your night was, and just different things about yourself. And I missed that. So I decided, what can I do to feel that way and that connection with you guys? And I decided, well, what I could do is I could sit on my front porch and I could wave to people that go by and holler nice compliments and things to them. But then I realized I lived out in the country, so the likelihood of me running across people very often, it doesn't happen. So then I thought, well, I guess I could sit out on the front porch and I could talk to the animals. I mean, Disney characters do that, so why not? So I thought, well, I could be like, oh my gosh, Squirrel, I love your fluffy tail. You've done an amazing job keeping that up. Or Robin, your breast looks beautiful today. It has a wonderful orangish reddish tint to it. Or, oh my gosh, you are so cute, little bluebird. I love your little stripes. And then I thought, in the off chance that someone drove by, they might think I was crazy. So I decided that probably wasn't a good idea either. So then I thought, well, I could at least talk to you guys about things that I miss about you guys. So at the beginning of each episode, until I'm through everyone in the class, I'm going to showcase 2 students at a time, and I'm just going to talk about things that I miss about you guys. So the first 2 students I'm going to showcase this episode are going to be Miss Charlotte and Miss Madison. I chose you 2 together because, well, you're tight, you're BFFs, and I couldn't think of a better duo to choose. So Charlotte, I'm going to start with you. Charlotte, I miss you so much. I miss your witty personality. I miss your funny jokes. I just miss everything about you. Just radiates just fun and excitement and eagerness to learn, and I miss that about you. Miss Madison, I miss your warm smile. I miss the hug that you gave me every single morning. It just melts my heart. I miss driving by your house in the morning when I drop my son off to middle school and honking at you while you're waiting at the bus stop. I just miss you very much. And obviously the 2 of you, you're like Mario and Luigi. You're like a little team. I miss you guys together. I miss seeing and interacting with you guys together. So I just want you to know that I am thinking about you all the time, Miss Charlotte and Madison. Well, back to what our episode is going to be about. This episode, we are going to be talking about books. The reason why I chose books because I decided, I should talk about my favorite things. But then I realized I have a lot of favorite things, so I should just focus on one at a time. So I'm going to focus on books. I love reading. You guys already know that. That's nothing new. I am trying to instill a love for reading in you guys as well by giving you tons of literature and different things to get you excited about reading. So I thought we'd do a tiny little discussion about reading. First things first, let's make sure we know our different genres and different categories and everything. So we'll start with fiction and nonfiction. Okay? Fiction, fake. It's not real. If it is a princess being saved by a dragon, it's fiction. Now, it's a specific kind of fiction, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but if it's fake, it's fiction. Nonfiction, totally real, totally happened. If I am reading a book about how to fix a car, okay, an informational text or manual, that's nonfiction, totally true, okay? If I'm reading about an event in history that really happened, okay, that's nonfiction. So those are the difference between those 2. Then we have biography and autobiography. This one, it's pretty easy to distinguish the difference between. Basically, it's about a person, but it depends on who's writing it to figure out which one it goes to. If it is a biography, that means someone else wrote a book about someone. Meaning, if I want to write a book about Shawn Mendes, that would be a biography. I would be writing a book about his life, but it would be me telling it. Now, if Shawn Mendes decided, you know what, I'm going to write a book about myself, that would make it an autobiography because he wrote a book about himself. So, biography and autobiography. Then we have 2 of my personal favorites, science fiction and fantasy. there is a difference. So let me tell you the difference between these two. If you have science fiction, it is not a real book. It is a fictional tale. However, it's based on science facts, meaning they use science to explain things, and there's a lot of theory involved, and it possibly could be true later on down the road. An example of a science fiction would be, The Martian. That's a science fiction book. Or Ender's Game series. Those are science fiction books. Fabulous, by the way. And then you have fantasy. This is my personal favorite. I love, 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 love fantasy. That's definitely my favorite genre. If you have to pick a genre, mine's fantasy all the way. A fantasy book could be a variety of different books. I'm reading a lot of kind of adult or even teen fantasy books that are about kind of cyborg princesses that are trying to take over and help in battles and stuff. The Cinder series are really good. The Red Queen series, I've read them. They're very good. If you want a fantasy book that we have read or started reading at least, Matilda. That's a wonderful fantasy book. Okay. It's a beautiful book about a little girl who has magical powers to kind of help her in a bad situation that she's in with her family. So that's a great fantasy book. And that's pretty much different. Fantasy is made up, but it's not based on science, where science fiction, sci-fi, is based on science. Then you have graphic novels. Those are super popular right now, and I love, 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 love graphic novels. Some of the graphic novels is basically telling a story using pictures. Yes, there are often words inside the pictures, but it's using a lot of pictures to tell the story. They kind of originated from comics, which are super popular. My husband's favorite genre happens to be comics. He collects comics and has all sorts of comic things, or comic books. But some of the famous graphic novels that you guys have a tendency to like, or maybe you have or have not heard about them, Smile, that's a great comic. Drama, the Amulet series, really good comic. If you're looking for more words and less pictures, but still considered a graphic novel, Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, wonderful one. The Big Nate series, really all of those are really, really good ones. Now brings us to different kind of subcategories of fiction. I would say, actually a nonfiction too. Adventure. Love reading myself a good adventure. You kind of get lost in it. It builds, the story builds up until it climaxes, and then something cool happens. So adventures are great, great, great stories. One of my favorite adventures is The Wild Robot. I love it. And he wrote the second book called The Wild Robot Escapes. Equally wonderful. It's about a robot who kind of gets kind of shipwrecked on an island, and he has to kind of adapt and get to know the island critters and get them to accept him for who he is as an outsider. And they actually came to rely on the robot, and I don't want to give too much of away, but he becomes a parent to an animal, and he helps the island in many ways. So that's a great, 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 great adventure book. And it's a fictional story because, well, a robot, to my knowledge, has not come alive and got stranded on an island and helped animals and talk with them yet. But so far, it's a fictional tale. It's a great, great read. If you're looking for something to read, I would highly recommend The Wild Robot. Another book, let's see, category, mystery. Oh, how did I forget about mystery? Mystery is a great category. You're always wondering what's going to happen next when in mystery books. A lot of the classics are the Boxcar Children. Those are some great mysteries. The Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, those are some older mysteries. Another mystery series that I really like is the Sisters Grimm book series, and it's about two sisters that work together to solve mysteries. That's actually their job. They're like detectives, but they're detectives in like a world with mythical creatures. So it's super fun. And another good mystery series is the 39 Clues series. Those really grasp your interest and you kind of want to know what happens next. One of my personal favorite categories is the horror categories. I like those. I like myself a good scary story every now and then. And one of my favorite authors to do that for children's literature would be Mary Downing Hahn. She does a wonderful job writing books that really kind of chill you to the bone. And if you're looking for something a little less scary, I would suggest the Goosebumps series. R.L. Stine does a wonderful job leaving you at cliffhangers at almost the end of every chapter, and it's not too dark and scary. It doesn't take itself too serious, and the characters are very relatable for kiddos. do want to recommend some books for the break. If you're wanting some books, I want to recommend a few. I would say The One and Only Ivan. Read that on Bright Summer Day or Bright Spring Day. It's kind of a sad story, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, well-written story about a gorilla and himself in captivity and things he's encountered and stuff. And it's a very, very good read. Any of the Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan series, beautiful books. You will love those. Those are fantasy. So if you're a fantasy fan, read any of those. The Lightning Thief series, you'll really like those. A throwback one would be Where the Red Fern Grows. Doesn't get old. Love that book. Red Pony, equally well. Old Yeller, Shiloh, all those are dead. Those animal dog books, they're very, very good. They pull your heartstrings though, so just know it might have a tragic ending, but beautiful story nonetheless. Some other book series, if you're looking for book series to read, Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, I would highly recommend those. Those are they're funny. They don't take themselves too seriously. Bad Guys series, those are quick read. Lots of pictures, few words, but very, very good. The Babysitter's Club, the graphic novel series, such a good series. And they're coming out with new books like all the time. I really, really like those. If you're looking for bigger books, 2 fantasy books I would highly recommend would be, actually 3 now I think about, Fablehaven, love that series. Inkheart, that's a beautiful series for fantasy. And then, let's see, I have one more. Oh, Aragon, Dragon Book, beautiful, beautiful book. But those are just some books that I would highly recommend if you're looking for some things to read over the break. And you can always have your family shoot me a text, or guys, you know how to email me through the school email. You have access to do that. Feel free to email me anytime you want. You are welcome to do that, and I will respond like that. I think that's about it on books. I want you to keep reading. Like I said, I hoped next week to start reading you guys Harry Potter. I think you'll really enjoy that if you haven't read it. Even if you have read it, it's fun to kind of listen to books. I read a lot of books, but I also know a lot of people that listen to audiobooks too, and I have listened to audiobooks, and they're kind of fun. It's different when someone else is telling the story, so you may or may not like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you want to follow along the book with me. If you have the book at home, maybe you want to follow along and read while I read. I'm cool with that too. But I think that's all I want to talk about on books. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep being fabulous, and know that I miss you guys very much, and I can't wait to see you again. Okay? Reading rocks.